Captain Peter Cutsey, South Korea. This is my briefing room. As you can recall, when we did the dual FMC failure, we were departing Muscat. So we're going to take a few steps back to those videos that I did on dual FMC failure and pretend that we are going to continue with our flight, but not to destination. We're going to go and hold over the Muscat VOR and then return to execute a localizer only approach to runway 08 left at Muscat. And we'll be using raw data. The picture you see in front of you is a normal situation. I will set up the non-normal situation in a moment, but I would like you to look at what you have available when everything is normal. We have LNAV and we have VNAV, and we have auto throttles. Now I want you to compare that to this. So here's the situation that we have. We are now in a dual FMC failure. However, we're using the autopilot, we're using the auto throttles, we're in a VOR lock situation. Our nav display is in the VOR mode. Out of the 4 modes, this is one of them. And we've got the 100 radio set up. That's what we are cleared to hold. Inbound 280, right-hand turn, 5 nautical miles. So the point I'm trying to make is when you've lost both FMCs, you've lost the LNAV and VNAV capability only. You have the rest. We'll assume that we've done all the non-normal checklists. We've done the after takeoff procedure. We've done the after takeoff check, and we requested to hold on the Muscat 100 radial for convenience sake because our outbound track is 280 degrees on the localizer approach. We'll have a look at it now. This is a JEPI chart up to date of the localizer only approach to runway 08 left at Muscat. And if you notice the little note 1 on the radial on the chart takes us up to the reference that we are to use a 280 outbound track because we are 737 max 180 knots. That's why we made the request to hold on the 100 radial to accommodate the outbound track. I brought up a little chart here that I, for your sake and understanding how we should apply heading outbound without a map. There are several formulas, and they're fairly complicated on how to stay in a holding pattern. But basically what you're looking at is the magenta is what the FMC would generate if we had a map. We're going to have to fly a pattern similar to the white pattern you see in front of you. We can change that wind to 010 at 30 knots to give us a 90-degree wind. Basically, it's almost 90 degrees. So in a 90-degree wind, your max, that's where you're going to experience maximum drift. The little formula is 1/3 of the wind speed is the amount of drift that you're going to use at 90 degrees. So you're going to drift 10 degrees towards the south. So really, if we were had a map, you would find that the FMC would actually track that 100 outbound beautifully on a map with a heading of 090 degrees. We have to come up with some kind of a figure to end up so that when we do make the final turn onto final, that we end up in a position we can arm bore lock and stay on the 100 radial. So if we use 2 times the max drift in this case, which is 20, which means that we'll steer a heading of 080 when going outbound, and we'll give that a try. And if it doesn't work, we'll adjust it the next time around. When we're a beam, on the 010 radial of the Muscat VOR, that's when we start our timing. We would normally be holding in a 5 nautical mile legs, but we'll be using a timing of 1 minute, being that we don't have that capability, and we'll see what happens. Okay, we're back to the simulator again, and we're at 2.7 nautical miles, counting down. So when we get station passage, we will select heading. So we'll go up there and get ready for that now. And then when we get station passage, we'll turn right to a heading of 080 degrees and start our timing. And we'll see how it works out. It's important that you understand this part of it before we can actually do the approach, because we are holding, and in the simulator we would do the same thing to let you see how things work out. So we'll go ahead and select heading select now, and we're on our current heading. And that's why it's important to select, always ensure that your heading bug is under the actual heading, in case you did lose tracking capability or for whatever reason. I've got 30 degrees of bank selected, most newer 7377 auto feature, depending on the true airspeed. So another station passage. Zero degrees set. We'll go to match center so we can have the needles. And we started the turn, and when we intercept the 010 degree radial, which is 90 degrees, we'll start a timing. Of course, we can see both VOR needles because we've got the VORs tuned to 114.5, the number 1 and the number 2 VOR. And we've also got in standby 108.9, the localizer frequency for the localizer approach that we're going to be executing later. We'll get into the setup later. Right now, we're just going to analyze how we can, in fact, track outbound and intercept the track inbound. We'll see how it works out. Timing started. We're just going through the 010 degree radial. So when our timing was up, we started our right turn, and we'll monitor the movement of the course before we actually arm Vorlock. This software isn't exactly the same as the airplane, it's close. So you'll find the airplane works beautifully. If you went ahead and armed Vorlock and you did get a capture, the aircraft would track that 100 radio beautifully. So we have to kind of trick this system to make it work. So we're getting close. We've got a tailwind really pushing us towards that radial. So we'll continue the turn before arming Vorlock so that we don't go through it. And So you can see that worked out quite well. We're at 4.1 miles, and we will track the 100 radio inbound. Now we're just coming up to Station Passage. There we have it, and we turn outbound again. So we deactivated Vorlock, and we preset our heading to 080, deactivated Vorlock, and now we're in the turn to 080 degrees again, and we found that that was a magic number for today's situation. So you'll find the airplane works incredibly well using Vorlock. So there you go. We don't really need a map, do we? We've got the auto throttles, we've got the autopilot, and we've got the Vorlock features, so we can fly a VOR radio. And as you'll see, we'll be flying a VOR radio outbound in the localizer approach to runway 08 left, and then at the 12 nautical mile DME, we'll switch frequencies. That is, the pilot monitoring will do that. After we've selected heading, select pilot flying, we'll turn to the left, and we'll have a look at actual procedure later and brief on it. And then the first officer, in this case, will be the pilot monitoring, will reset frequencies to the localizer frequencies and reset courses to 084. So the pilot flying captain, in this case, can now intercept the localizer and fly it inbound. We're going to use vertical speed as far as the vertical path control is concerned, and we'll talk about that later. Well, that's it for this video. I'm going to try to keep the videos fairly short. And then in the next video, we will prepare the aircraft for the approach to runway 08 left at Muscat. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.